I'd like to welcome you all for the webinar. We understand you all are very busy post COVID-19. I'm sure you all are, catching up with your work, but we really appreciate your time, spending some time for the webinar. You able to view my screen, Amit?
Yes, Tashi.
Okay. Okay. I would actually like to start this webinar with a quote from His Majesty. His Majesty the King addressed to the graduates of RIM on 9th August 2019. Being a small nation makes us a smart nation. This is not out of choice, but out of necessity. Technology is an indispensable tool that will be necessary to realize this aspiration. His Majesty said that we have very talented Bhutanese who, given the right training and preparation, can take advantage of technology and in this way enable higher productivity and greater well-being. His Majesty commented that the progress that we have already made in some areas, but said that the pace of change has to be stepped up. Now is the time to think about how to make use of emerging technological advancements such as digital identification, AI, blockchain, IoT, big data, quantum computing, machine learning, virtual reality and augmented reality, etc., which present unlimited opportunities for us Bhutanese. With this thought process, I would like to start the webinar today. I'll start with a question here. Is this COVID-19 pandemic the most significant digital transformation catalyst we have seen in decades? And if so, what can you do right now to survive, recover, thrive, and be ready for the new normal? So I have the two answers below. These are the questions that we'll try to answer in this webinar today, touch on what's happening around us and what will have a lasting impact. And later, Faizan will talk about what businesses like yours can do. Now, businesses are to build new customer relationships through effective digital experiences. With many people quarantined in their homes, digital experiences matter more than ever. Companies will identify the ones that matter most and improve upon them to build new and stronger customer relationships. In other words, follow your customers during the pandemic and lead them out of it. Companies realize and invest in technology with the eye toward the future. As the COVID-19 pandemic disrupts nearly every aspect of life, enterprises are turning to digital technology and analytics to help them weather the crisis and prepare new ways of operating and serving customers once we reach the other side. People are shutting in, businesses are shutting off in response to the pandemic, which we have seen in Bhutan. Now, this has sparked a sudden economic shift from physical to digital. This is true both for interactions with customer, where you do online marketing, your sales channels, digital products, and the way companies operate, which is remote working. Now, for instance, in Bhutan, we have seen online and food delivery services across Bhutan. They are actually experiencing an unprecedented surge in demand. A friend of mine actually owns a company, a small grocery store, and somehow he sensed that this is going to happen, and he actually launched his e-commerce site just before we went to lockdown. The e-commerce site is shoponline.bt. So we actually, I do a lot of mountain biking, so we actually mountain biking buddies. And he used to tell me that his business is kind of okay, it's able to survive. But once the lockdown, he tells me that within a week, about 1,000 customers they registered in his e-commerce site. And then within 2 weeks, he was able to order 1,500 plus orders to customers in Thimphu. So we can see what the pandemic is doing to us. And according to RMA, mobile and internet banking recorded a total of 1.3 million transactions, amounting to 1.08 billion in the first week of lockdown. And even for us as a company, once the lockdown was announced, we do a lot of security products, and a lot of companies, they contacted us because they needed a secure channel to connect to their offices, which is mobile VPN and remote VPN. So they had to purchase licenses from us. So now, in our company, what we have done is we've already implemented SAP Business One. So everything is digitized in the company. We actually don't have to stay in the company to work. So in that way, when the organizations, when they came to us and when they gave us orders, sales orders, it was not a problem at all for us to execute the order. Normally what happens in the manual process is you have to go to the office, do your seal sign, scan the document and send it to the banks for payment and all that. So we actually did not have any problem, and we were able to execute all the orders very efficiently. So beyond the immediate fallout of the crisis, it has become clear that some of these shifts are here to stay. COVID-19 is radically accelerating the digital future. So this was just an introduction of what the COVID-19 has done to us. So I would actually like to introduce my company, just for new attendees here. I'm sure most of you all know me and the company. So we started in 2012. We started as a purely infrastructure company, but last 3.5 to 4 years, we've been actually focusing on application and ERP. So we've partnered with the world's best OEMs, here being SAP, who has more than 40,000 plus customers all around the world with their ERP. Just to tell you about the mission and the goal of the company. Now, mission is where we have a lot of empathy. We are guided by the customer first philosophy. We think like the customer, and we make sure that their primary goal to grow is achieved. And goal, you can see, it's more to do with quality that we want to maintain. Now, this commitment starts from me being the CEO of the company and extends through the entire organization. We are using the ERP system, and all our service calls are monitored. And I make sure that each and every call is delivered. Just to give you a brief on the products and services that we offer, as you can see, first and foremost, it's the ERP solutions that we do. And when it comes to ERP, we are actually trying to focus on one product, which is SAP, SAP S/4HANA and SAP Business One. So today is more about SAP Business One. You all must know that there are a few companies in Bhutan who are using SAP. So that's an entirely different product, which is SAP ECC and SAP S/4HANA. So SAP Business One is something that even us as an organization, we are fairly a small organization, probably have about 70 to 80 million turnover a year, but still we are using SAP to streamline our processes. So what I'm trying to say is that it's not so expensive to implement SAP Business One. We do provide IT infrastructure solutions, cybersecurity. We do private cloud data center, and we also do open source technologies. And if you see at the last, it's HR Station. So this is one comprehensive HRMS software. So it has features from hire to retire. This is a product that's developed by our team, complete Bhutanese team, and it even has mobile applications. And this product, in fact, not just Bhutan, we are actually targeting customers outside Bhutan as well. Now, like I said, we want to maintain quality. We want to make sure the expectations of the customers are met. developing applications when it comes to developing applications and implementing SAP, in consulting, managed services. This is something that we do day and night, and this is our bread and butter is that. So, our commitment to you is to help you grow. You focus on your core objectives of your company. We will make sure that your IT keeps running. So that as a company, we invest a lot of time, resource in our people. This has been going on last 7 to 8 years. So in terms of SAP, you can see that these are the certified resources that we have in our team. Now it's kind of a show off, but we understand, because we have put so much effort. Some of us even failed during our first attempt. We studied more, we created more demo systems, we practiced, and the team actually now has these certifications. So this is to tell you that we are very serious on SAP practice, and we'll make sure that we serve you well in any SAP implementation or consulting or implementation support. With this, I'll actually hand over to Mr. Faizan. Faizan is SME solution expert from SAP. So he'll take you more in depth about what COVID-19 is and how SAP Business One can help you. Plus, Faizan, to you. Hello, Amit.
Yes, Faizan, I'm able to see your presentation. Request you to put it on full screen mode. Thank you.
Thanks, Amit. Thank you, Kashi, for the
Faizan, not able to hear you quite clearly.
Hello.
Yes, Faizan, better.
I hope you are also able to see me now, or at least some part of me.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe let me slightly adjust, and maybe this will be better. Okay.
Thank you.
So thanks, Amit. Thanks for letting me know. So thank you once again to you. Thank you to Tashi for the nice introduction, for setting the stage for me to come and talk about new normal and how SAP Business One can help you. So before I start, let me again extend a warm welcome to the participants, our audience for this session on new normal. I would like to thank Tashi for inviting me, and also the audience for giving me their time. Let me introduce myself very briefly. So my name is Faizan Zaidi, and I work for SAP as a small and medium enterprise solution expert. I carry about 22 years of work experience, out of which most of it, or at least I think more than 15 years now, have been spent in providing consultancy services or implementing ERP solutions for SME segment. So I have a request. That during the next 30 or 35 minutes during my presentation, I'll be asking a few questions. I would request you to please share your ideas, to please respond to those questions, and let me know your thoughts. Thank you. And this is a general disclaimer. So a general disclaimer. So some of the examples, some of the statements which I will be making or showing would be forward looking. So I would request the audience to evaluate the same in context of your own specific cases, and we can have more specific one-to-one discussions with interested people as a follow-up to today's session. Okay, so the agenda is simple enough. we are going to talk about the implications of this COVID-19 pandemic on the businesses. We are going to talk about how we as SAP can help your organization for adapting to this new normal. I will also give a brief introduction about SAP Business One, because that is the vehicle which we are positioning to you as a platform which will help the business adapt to the changing dynamic environment. And this will be followed by a short demo wherein Dorji from Zealous will actually give you a brief walkthrough of the SAP Business One system. And finally, we can have a Q&A wherein you can post in your questions and we will try to answer that. Okay, so okay. Okay, so what you look at on your screen is a change curve. Now we all know we are living these last 4 or 5 months have been very uncertain times for us. Yeah. So while initially in March nobody would have thought that the world would be in such a situation as what it is right now. This pandemic has impacted everyone in every place. To some places the impact is more, to some places it is less, but we have all been experienced the impact of this pandemic in our daily lives. And when you have this kind of a major change happening around us, generally the range of emotions, the thought process of a person through which he goes through, it is generally goes through these curves, which is what you can see on your screen. So initially, although you may be generally there is a shock, you would experience denial that this is something which cannot happen to you. There could be an anger because it has happened to us. Why? It's not fair. We did not deserve it. Then somebody can go into a bargaining mode that I'll try to compromise. I will see, okay, I will let go of this thing, but maybe I will do this instead of this. And then there could be low points also. Somebody can actually feel depressed about the whole situation and maybe give up on trying to manage this situation or trying to manage the change at all. And gradually people would you start accepting that you cannot fight it, but you may prepare for it, you may adapt for it. And that is when as a person you get into that mode of getting into problem solving. You start not looking at the problem itself, but you start looking into how to find the solution. So let me take the temperature of this room. Let me know from the audience as to where do you feel you are in terms of this change curve. Are you still on denial? Do you feel you are still in shock? Do you feel depressed? Or maybe you have moved on, you have come to a stage wherein you are accepting this situation. So I am just let me just open this question to you. So can you see on your screen there is this QR code? So you can use your smartphones, scan this QR code, or alternatively you could go to www.menti.com and enter this code 1256068. Please, if you are having a smartphone, please use the QR code. Go to or alternatively go to menti.com and enter the code 1256068. And once you do that, you will come to this question. What I'm asking you is, as per this change curve, at what stage do you feel you are in? And please understand, there is no wrong answer, there is no right answer. This is just to gauge the sentiment of the audience, to gauge what you people are feeling through. Okay, so we have some answers coming in. Good. Okay, so we have two people who are into problem solving. There are people into acceptance. Some people are feeling depressed, which is actually very natural. This is a big change for all of us. Yeah. Okay. Acceptance is something which has come in. Yeah. Good. Yes. Shock. Yes. Shock can also be there. Shock is a very natural reaction to what is happening around us. There is a fear. There is a shock that something of this magnitude has come to us. Yeah. So let's see. We have got like 11 responses so far. Maybe I will give you a few seconds more, 15 seconds or 20 seconds more, to express your views or to express your thoughts. How do you feel? Where do we are? Okay, okay. I think this gives us a fair idea. We some of us are feeling shocked. We are some of us are feeling depression, but a lot of us are now into a mode wherein we are accepting that yeah, this is a change which has come upon us and we need to respond to that. And some of us are also into problem solving mode wherein we are trying to find solutions to the situation. So great. Thanks for letting us know. Yeah. And this is also the this is also what the companies or businesses are going through. So companies are also have gone through this similar curve of change, and companies are also now thinking and trying to return their businesses back to scale. Returning the businesses back to scale, while at the same time they understand that the situation is not what it was before. There is a new normal which has emerged, and the businesses need to adapt to them. The government policies might have changed. The economic situation definitely has changed. The customer behavior itself has undergone a sea change. So businesses are forced to change, to adapt to this new situation which is emerging. But this is not so simple now. This pandemic and its accompanying disruptions have created its own set of challenges. The biggest challenge, of course, is a liquidity crunch. Uh, people I talk to, customers I talk to, talk about the fact that cash flow is an issue, a major concern for most of them. Collections for customers are drying up, and businesses in turn are not able to pay their suppliers on time. And then there is also, of course, the disrupted supply chain, the movement of people, the movement of goods, the movement of the movement of your material, that is restricted, both within the nation, within the country, and even in case of say somebody who's into imports or exports, you have those restrictions. Most of the countries are still undergoing some level of lockdown. I understand from Tashi, I mean, Bhutan itself, I think, has just this week come out of a prolonged lockdown of, I think, about 3 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. So these situations are posing their own set of challenges. Labor again is something. Labor availability is an issue. People have traveled back to their hometowns, and any job which requires labor or which requires skilled people is there is a challenge in completing those jobs. So in these times of uncertainty, business are evaluating. For every decision, they are evaluating whether it is essential, absolutely essential for their survival or not. Whether what is the financial prudence of taking that decision. Whether the costs are something which can be postponed, maybe to a future period. What are the changes which are happening in the production cost? Maybe my supplied material, my input material costs are going up. My purchase cost is going up. So how is it impacting my production cost? My labor cost has gone up. Labor is not available so easily. And overall, maybe I don't have sufficient liquidity in the business. How do I pay off my suppliers to ensure the supply of material continues? How do I ensure my collections from customers are happening on time? So all these questions are coming up, and companies are now thinking how to overcome these challenges and return to the scale where they were, functioning before this COVID impact took place. So these are some of the examples of some of the industries wherein people are seeing very, very apparent changes. So like if you talk about, there is the automotive industry. So in automotive industry, I think most of us would have seen the demand for new cars, new vehicles has gone down. But what it has meant is that, uh, the demand for spare parts have gone up. People are not changing their old vehicles. So that has meant that the old vehicles are consuming more spare parts, are demanding more spare parts. And that is wherein the aftermarket for spare parts has gone up, right? Across industry, what we also see is that there is a cost for the input material has gone up. Mainly due to supply disruptions, the transportation restrictions, and companies are forced to decide whether they want to, how do they manage the pricing of their final product? Do they pass on these costs to the end customer, or do they try to absorb some of the increased cost at their end? Then there is sorry. Then there is the consumer products or retail. So this is one industry wherein you see a lot of positive bump actually. So has been a faster adoption of online purchasing. More and more of us are now opting for purchasing for apps like maybe Amazon or Alibaba or some other e-commerce portal, which is helping you to look at the items and take your decision. And this is definitely having an impact on the retail industry. Now, a retail outlet which is located in a mall in a very upmarket area. Now, in case people are not physically visiting the malls, people are avoiding going to these shops. Does the company or does the retailer actually need to pay the rent for that shop in that particular upscale mall? Or maybe he needs to look at the fact that maybe majority of his sales are now happening online. So these are the things which are having wherein the customer behavior is having a direct impact on the industry. Mhm. Engineering, construction, and operations. Of course, supply chain disruptions mean issues in terms of project delays. And across industry, people are now prefer the changing habits of the employees themselves are forced to be changed, and lifestyle changes have also have happened. More and more people are working. Just to give the example, look at us ourselves right now. I am sitting in Delhi right now. Yeah, in the previous normal, which was before March, ideally I would have booked my tickets, I would have traveled to your city, and I we would have been sitting face to face and having a discussion. But look at what we are doing right now. We are there we have a huge audience. We have a panel of 8 people. The audience is from different places. I am outside the country, outside your country, and still we are using these collaboration tools. You can see me, I can, in case I want to, I can see you. Yeah, and we are having this conversation. So the work habits have changed, the lifestyles have changed, and and more people are using some collaboration tools, remote tools, to to ensure that that they are able to interact with their customers, with their suppliers, with their employees. So what has COVID done to us? What has COVID done to the businesses effectively is, previously, if you go to if you go to a business person, if you go to a CFO, you go to a CEO, you go to a MD, the conversation was on generating growth for the businesses. The conversation was about how to increase the profitability. The competition, the conversation was how to beat the competition. But now businesses are facing are being asked to face up to more fundamental questions. Conversations with businesses are now more about adaptability. So business environments have changed. Expectations from customers and ability to do business in the changing dynamics, whether your business can adapt to that. Flexibility, the new product lines and new models are being talked about. So just to give you an example, textile companies, a lot of the textile companies in India are now have got into making masks and gloves. Every major brand I can think of right now, at least, they are supplying you masks, they are supplying you gloves. They are showing that flexibility to change as per the changing environment. Similarly, pharma companies, now most of the pharma companies, whatever they may have been producing previously, have also got into sanitizers. So people are not just their processes, but even in terms of the whole business model, people are looking at what are the changes they need to do. And of course, the resilience, whether you can return back to business operations, what are the stock levels, whether you need to redefine your safety stock levels, whether you need to consider higher safety levels because of change in supply. What is the risk assessment for your suppliers, whether they can continue to supply you material. So these fundamental points are what are being discussed. The conversations have changed. The conversations have changed from what they were before COVID struck us. Yeah. So questions that so these are some of the questions wherein we require businesses are looking for answers on urgent basis. How to manage demand. Some businesses or most businesses are suffering from a weak demand, but then there are businesses which are having a reverse impact. Like let's take the example of retail grocery business. A lot of the people are actually into panic buying. So retail grocery business at least has gone up. People are hoarding up on on their essential things which they require to run their households. Planning the cash flow better. You need to ensure that the finances are available to keep the business operational. Then of course disruption in supply chain, and how does the business manage the same? Do you need to look at alternative suppliers? Do you need to re-look at your minimum maximum level of inventory? How do you ensure that the goods are dispatched on time and they are reaching the customers as per the committed timelines? How do you keep your production going when material supply is uncertain? Do you need to look at some alternative items? So in case one of your key raw material is getting imported and that is something which is very, very uncertain, how whether the supplies will continue, then do you need to look at some alternative item which can be a substitute for that key raw material? Labor is not available. Do you need to go in for more automation? Do you need to relook at at the number of shifts which you are running in your factory or in your manufacturing concern? And of course, for employees, for business partners, whether they can work remotely, or do they actually need to physically come to the factory or the office? So these are the questions which businesses are looking an answer to on urgent basis. And what it is forcing us is, so it is forcing the businesses to return to adjust to this new normal which is there. And this is actually forcing the businesses to review their existing process. Businesses are forced to identify what are the outdated and slow processes which would impact customer value. What are the transformation efforts, like maybe enabling of online commerce, maybe mobile apps for remotely working of employees, maybe new sources of supply. Uh, these are maybe the imports from far away are not working, so alternative suppliers closer to business, or identify products which can be substituted. So people are re-looking at their business processes, and anything which is slow, which is outdated, which is not able to make your business adapt to the changing reality, people are forced to change that and see what is the transformation they can bring in terms of their business processes. But the question is, how do you enable that shift in business processes once you have identified that, okay, these are the processes wherein maybe I need to relook at, maybe this is something wherein I need to have more optimum utilization of this particular resource. Once you have identified that, the question is, how do you prepare for that? How do you transform that? So at the epicenter of this, as the epicenter of this new virus has shifted from one place to another across the globe, we have seen that more or less similar actions are being taken to contain and mitigate the virus threat. And these efforts have mostly involved going digital. So instead of, say, physically traveling, people are now working, collaborating, shopping, learning. Learning, everything is happening from home. People are using digital tools. People are using digital platforms. And just to give you some a very easy to relate to example, so countries where e-commerce or remote work was something which was not heavily adopted before, it seems overnight the attitudes have entirely changed. So people have realized the enormity of the change, right? And what they are trying to do is, they are trying to, instead of going physical, people are turning to digital modes to ensure whether it is in their personal life, or it is in their work life, or it is for their businesses, they are able to adapt. And more activities are becoming digital, right? While at the same time, there are some activities some areas wherein it's a mix of digital and physical. And just to elaborate a bit more on that. I mean, previously customers would have preferred if I talk from my own personal experience also, customers would prefer physical meetings and in-person selling experience. Now we have what I see is more and more companies are okay with a digital sales campaign which is being targeted for them. We see an increasing acceptance by end customers to make appointments online and go for digital channels to engage. And while there was no alternative to remote selling and buying during the pandemic, what it has shown is that once the changes have happened, once the changes have come in, and people have adopted the digital mode, people have adopted the remote mode, it is where things are not going to go back to the old normal. Yeah. So this is this behavioral change which has happened. It is going to be there to stay. And what we have to see is how we can get onboarded onto this digital transformation journey, and what are the technologies which are available to us which can speed up our journey. So these are some of the innovations which are, or some of the technologies which are already impacting the way businesses are run. Most of the technologies we have heard of, I presume we have heard of. However, what COVID has done, or what this pandemic has done, is to make businesses realize that these technologies are not a luxury anymore. These technologies are not something which is a peripheral to your business, but in fact these technologies are actually essential for you to adapt to the changing environment and continue your growth business. Businesses which are adapting these technologies are creating further disruptions in their industry. We have all seen the impact of Uber in the taxi industry. I mean, who would have thought a company which is if I remember correctly, is currently maybe operating in 60 plus countries worldwide, but that is a company which does not own a single car of their own, a single taxi of their own. Yeah. So these technologies people have been incorporating, and once you adopt it, you become actually the path breaker. You are the one, then you cause further disruption in your business. And people who don't get onto that journey, they are the ones who find it difficult to survive. So once the Uber came into picture, the local taxi services actually found it very difficult to survive. I don't know how the experience has been in Bhutan. What I'm talking to you is mostly from my experience in India and some of the countries I have traveled to. But generally that has been the trend. And you can see, I mean, we can talk about, we can see there are things like, say, e-commerce platform. So customers can place orders and get delivery at home. There are things like, say, mobile app. So employees are working from home, customers can place track orders. On-field employees or workers carry apps and ensure real-time information exchange with the businesses. Digital payments, I mean, more and more business transactions are happening at the click of a button on your mobile. No actual cash change, not much actual cash changing hands. Augmented reality or virtual reality experience. If you go to Amazon site, they give you an option where you can actually visualize. You can actually upload the images of your room, and in case you are planning to buy an item, what the system can do is it can help you. It can actually let you see how your room will look like once you have bought that item. So it's a totally different experience the customer is getting thanks to the augmented reality which Amazon has introduced on their platform. So very disruptive technologies, but also technologies which are essential for us, which are becoming more and more essential for us because of the way situation is changing, because of the way customer behavior is changing, because of these changes which have been accelerated by this onset of this pandemic. The question is then, how do we as SAP help you in digitalizing your businesses? How do you digitize your urgent or your key processes, and what are the steps you take for the new normal? Yeah. So every company, every business organization has choices to make right now, and these choices are with respect to IT system. And although I may say this is a choice with respect to their IT system, but this is a choice not just for the IT system, but this is a choice whether as a business you would like to like to adapt to the new normal, or as a business would you struggle to remain competitive and survive. Businesses, various studies have shown businesses which have already adapted, which had already adopted this digital transformation journey, they have been able to better cope with these disruptions which have happened. Even in times of COVID, organizations which were already had undergone a level of digital transformation, they have been able to cope better with this situation. So every business, as I said, needs to make that decision. Do you focus on what matters right now and continue with the existing system, or maybe you find a middle path? You say, okay, continue with the existing system as it is, and then let me see whether there are certain levels of automation wherein I can introduce a new IT system. Yeah? So that could be one approach. And then there could be an approach wherein you actually reimagine what the new normal is going to be, how it can actually totally disrupt your business model, and see what are the IT needs which are which you need to cater to meet these implications of this new normal. So the choice is clear. The choices most of the businesses right now are going through is they need to prepare for the new normal. They need to evaluate their business process. They need to reimagine what this new normal is going to, how it is going to impact their business, and they need to accordingly transform their IT landscape. And by IT landscape, they're not only just changing the IT application, but they are looking at, they are changing their whole business model altogether. So digital transformation, when you talk about digital transformation, the first step in that journey of transforming your business starts with having a single system. A single system which integrates your procurement, which integrates your production, which integrates finance, which integrates the supply chain management. This seamless integration between the core business functions is actually the foundation for digitalizing your business. And based on this platform, based on this foundation, then you can introduce these intelligent technologies to take the business to the next level altogether. So you as a businessman can either decide to stick to the traditional approach and continue the processes as you have been performing them, and which is also okay. I mean, today, I mean, I may be making a neat margin on my as per my current business model, and maybe that is working for me right now. or you see the need of adapting the businesses to the new normal, yeah, and you start the journey of digital transformation. So let's say a businessman who is selling any apparel in a retail industry, he can continue to do that, to sell that, as I said earlier, he can continue to open that retail store in a posh, in an upscale mall, or he can see maybe how the customer behavior is changing, how people are preferring option of online purchase, and maybe at least add that option to his business, add that, provide that option to his customers. Yeah. So this is these are some of the needs which could be there for a business in normal times. So one is, basic need is to return to the business to the scale. Yeah, that would be my most urgent need. I need to bring the business back to the original scale, and for that to happen, I need to ensure my forecast and planning are fine-tuned. I am able to forecast my demand. I am able to plan my cash flow. I am able to plan my resources. I am able to plan my raw material. I need to gauge the customer demand. I need to get a better understanding of how my customers are changing, or their businesses are changing. I need to identify new opportunities. I need to see whether my demand is going to firm up or it is going to decline. And I need to, of course, fine tune the, my production operations, all these changes which are happening, all these disruptions which are happening. I need to see whether I can still continue with my previous production processes, or do I need to maybe identify some alternative items? Maybe I need to automate some of the processes. All these things I need to identify. So this is the first critical step. I need to return my business back to the normal. Yeah. But once the business has started returning to scale, returning to where it was, what I also need to do is to accelerate the digitalization for this new normal. If I need to continue to grow, if I need to be the leader in my segment, if I need to continue to focus on my profitability, not just on remaining where I am, I need to look at how these intelligent technologies are impacting or can impact my businesses, and I need to see whether how I can use those technologies to provide more value add to my customers, how I can use that to be how I can use those to differentiate myself from the business. So it could be intelligent automation, it could be application based extension, it could be an integration with maybe some supplier portal, it could be a digital experience, or it could be maybe analyzing the data which I already have for my suppliers or my customers or my items, and driving more insights based on that. So similarly, for manufacturing companies, these could be these requirements, urgent needs for returning to normal. Again, it would be the same forecast, business development, production and operations. But when we talk about production and planning, it could be budgeting, cash flow, demands, profits. Similarly, in terms of business development, it could be customer pricing, it could be new channels, new customer experience. Production and operation, it could be bill of material, resources, multiple location capacity, inventory availability, the aging of the inventory, and delivery management. And in terms of the intelligent increasing digitalization through intelligent technologies, it could be cloud deployment, or we could be looking at some maybe digital commerce option, or we could be looking at maybe some factory automation, or we could be having a robotic process automation. So all those things we need to look at. Similarly, for a wholesale and distribution companies, it would again the first priority would be to return the business to scale. So forecast and planning would maybe remain the same. Business development would remain the same, but maybe the focusing would be on warehouses and operations. So inventory availability, aging, fulfillment priorities, yeah, multiple locations, alternative sources of supply, delivery management. And of course, then there are again those set of intelligent technologies. So let me take a breather here. Let me stop here for a minute or two, and let me ask you, yeah, out of these, does your organization have an integrated system for your core business functions? Do you think your organization has an integrated system, so one single system which can take care of the core business functions? And yeah, you can use this QR code, or you could go to menti.com and enter this code 1256068. Yeah, I repeat, if you have a smartphone, please use this QR code, or you can go to menti.com and enter this code 1256068. Again, no wrong answers, no right answers, just to gauge where do you feel you are in terms of your digital transformation journey. Do you have a single platform which can help you to adopt these disruptive technologies, these new intelligent technologies, which people are increasing more and more to remodel their business processes? Yeah, so let us look at where are we. So we are okay. So some people already some people are in the process of implementing these having an integrated system. Okay. Then there are people who feel this is integrated system is something they still need to take care of, and of course there are organizations which already have an integrated system to cover their core business functions. So good. I mean we are looking at a lot of the audience already having a integrated system, but a substantial portion of people, a set of people already are either in the process of implementing or do not maybe have the system, but maybe need to see whether that is something they need to opt for. So coming back, let me look at the time. Oh, we are slightly over time. Okay. So let me speed up. Yeah. So these are some of the business features which are available in SAP Business One, which actually help them to cope better, to adjust, which have been helping our customers to adjust to these situations of disruptions. Yeah. So if I look at, there could be people are able to track their budgets and see what are the deviations which are happening. Very important, because right now every expenditure needs to be tightly controlled. People can look at their alternative items, so decide whether an item can be substituted by another item, and whether that is something which can be used. Yeah. Importantly, item planning is very important. You need to people are able to relook at their lead time and do the their MRP planning, their forecasting based on the lead times, based on the minimum maximum order, based on what are the indicators, what is the demand which is coming in from the customers. So SAP Business One is helping people from based on the out of the box functionalities which are already available in the product. People are able to better adjust to this new situation. So similarly, there are things like say cash flow forecast versus expense forecast. Then there is mobile apps for remote working. So all these options are getting utilized by the customers to help them better adjust. And when you start your journey with SAP Business One, these are some of the immediate differences which you can see. So like during the implementation, people are looking at their master data, which is actually giving them insights into inactive items, what is the credit limit situations. Similarly, after go live, people are able to put in more controls for order level, the gross profit they are making, their credit and commitment limits, the budgeting. Yeah, these are uncertain times, so you also need to see whether you need to extend some discounts to your customers or what is the best pricing you can have from your suppliers. Enabling the workflow, so approvals can happen over the mobile. People can actually enter your can actually enter the orders from remote locations. Multiple location management, yeah, that is something which becomes more easy. Real-time information is available. Yeah. Integration with social media, very critical for today's times. And then these are the intelligent scenarios which you can extend onto the platform which is provided by SAP Business One. So integration with 3PL, or it could be maybe integration with some B2C or B2B apps, or it could be even integration with digital payments. So all these options become available to you once you have SAP Business One as a platform for digitalizing your business. So I will quickly just take 5 minutes to introduce SAP Business One to you. So this is not SAP ECC, this is SAP Business One, which is a digital platform targeted for small and medium sized enterprises. This is not generally when you talk about SAP ECC requires huge investment in terms of hardware. It could require huge investment in terms of people to be trained. It could require huge investment in terms of the initial implementation to be done. It could require investment in terms of the maintenance cost which are required to be done. ERP for SME, what it does, SAP does is it takes care of your core operations. So whether it is management and administration, accounting, financials, yeah, sales services, purchase and operations, inventory and distribution, production MRP, project management, all these are taken care of in the core product, yeah, while at the same time ensuring that the product remains light in terms of resources it consumes. And when I say resources, this is not just resources in terms of hardware, this is also resources in terms of the IT savviness required from the users. This is also resources required in terms of the investment which is required to be made. And these are some of the figures for SAP Business One. Yeah. So you have almost 70,000 customers. This is a product which is localized for 50 countries, and it can work in 28 languages. There are value-added resellers. And this product is used across globe. Almost 180 countries are now using it, and a lot of big companies are also using it across different countries for their subsidiaries. So these are some of the key functionalities. I will not like to go into that. We have run a bit out of time, so I will not get too much into that. Yeah, I'll just skip that. But point to note over here is that this is covering all your core operations. So purchasing operations, sales services, distribution, production, resource management, and over and above that, you can have solution customizations. So this is how the solution stack of SAP Business One looks like. There is SAP Business One at the core of the core solution offering, and this is available on Microsoft as well as SAP HANA. And importantly, this is a product which can also be hosted. So it can also be made available to you on a third-party cloud in case you don't want to go in for an on-premise option. Then there is SDK, there is integration framework and service layer. And using these three options, you can actually extend the base product and build in solutions or build in automation which is very specific to your business. So we have 500 plus partner solutions which have been built by partners to cater to specific industry requirements. And this is a product which is also integrated with other applications of other offerings of SAP. So SAP Ariba is integrated with SAP Business One. Similarly, field service management can be integrated with SAP Business One. And this is something which is also available in terms of mobility we have already talked about. And of course, importantly, we can also extend this in terms of using building solutions wherein we are incorporating elements of machine learning, or we are having a IoT solution for your warehousing automation. Those can be built on the basis of the SAP Business One platform. So this is what the Business One platform looks like. So this is the core, and around that you have the analytics, you have the mobile technologies, you have intelligent technologies like big data, you have machine learning, you have Internet of Things, and you have the cloud technology. So this is and these are some of these screens. This is how to give you a flavor of how the product looks like. You can have a landing page which is very specific to the user. You can simplify it as per the specific role which a particular user needs to perform in SAP Business One. There are dashboards which can give him at a glance the things he needs to do, what are the critical things which are demanding his attention from the business perspective. Yeah. Then of course we talked about the native applications which are available with SAP Business One, which you can use, your employees can use to view and update data from remote locations. Yeah. And of course there is a semantic layer, so you don't have to rely on a programmer to build in reports for you. You have these semantic layers wherein information is already available in terms of very easily understandable user language. So terms in which users are able to understand the information are available in terms of blocks of information, and you can just collect those blocks and build up your own report. No need for IT people to create those reports. Business users can themselves build in these MIS reports. And then Business One Integration Hub. So out of the box integration which is available with some of the applications. So let's say Shopify. Then there is Magento. There is Salesforce. There is Mailchimp. Yeah. And there is UPS. So a lot of these pre-configured templates are available with SAP Business One. And lastly, I mean, before I hand it over to Dorji for a small walkthrough of the product, I'll just see whether I can able to project my screen on the system. Let me see. And I'm actually trying to demonstrate a scenario wherein somebody looks at a shoe, and what it does is he actually captures an image of that shoe and sends it across to you who are a shoe retailer. And what the system does is the shoe retailer who is running SAP Business One, what the system does for him is that system actually checks within the catalog of products which he is offering in terms of the shoes. It actually matches the image which has been sent by a prospective customer with that particular with the catalog of shoes which is available with that particular retailer, and then it proposes to the customer that this is the shoe which best matches what he is looking for. And based on that matching, the customer can actually within the application select the shoe he wants to purchase. He can actually place an order in real time based on the recommendation which has come in on the application, and the order can get booked directly into SAP Business from the app, and the customer can even make a payment from that app itself. So a totally contactless business model wherein some remote user using Facebook Messenger is able to access your retail outlet in terms of the catalog of products which are available, place an order, make the payment, and move on. I'm sorry, I'm not able to project it on my screen, but yeah, what you can see is this is the SMB Marketplace Assistant bot, which is available in Facebook Messenger. I take a snapshot of the shoe, which I like maybe from what my friend is wearing, and I send that image to the retailer over this app only, SMB Marketplace bot. Yeah. Then what the system does is the image is matched with the catalog of products, and it gives an option to the customer. This is the 3 different shoes which are matching the image. You select one which is closest to what you like, what you were looking for, and based on that, based on your selection, you can actually create a sales order which will hit the SAP Business One. Yeah. So before I hand it over to Dorji for a small walkthrough, just one thought. I mean, and this is something which is from Peter Drucker, who was a well-known management guru. He has written a lot on lot of books on management theories, and also was one of the most influential, is considered one of the most influential management thinkers. And he says that the greatest danger in terms of turbulence is not the turbulence, it is to act with yesterday's logic. So the greatest risk is not that you are facing a challenge, or you are facing a risk, or you are facing a big change. The greatest danger is that you will still continue to act with your yesterday's logic. That is wherein businesses go wrong. They need to see how these changes, how these risks are impacting their business, and they need to adapt. They need to adjust to the new normal. So with this, I'll hand it over to Dorji, who will quickly take us, just give a feeler of how SAP Business One looks like and some key functionalities over there. Yeah. So over to you, Daji. Let me see.
Amit?
Yes, Dorji.
Are you able to view my screen?
Yes, Dorji, I'm able to see your screen.
Okay. Thank you, Faizan, for taking us on the background of SAP Business One and the new normal journey with the SAP Business One. Now, to introduce myself, I am Doji, currently working as a SAP functional lead and the implementer for Zelos System Private Limited. To have a brief background on my services, I had been working with the ERP implementation for last 8 years, where I have been dealing with most of the issues and errors and with the clients. So in the next 15 minutes, I'll just cover up the demo of the SAP Business One system. Now, when I actually say the SAP Business One demo, I may not be taking you to the full function of the SAP Business One. However, there are certain unique features we have with the SAP Business One. So I will go ahead with certain things which are unique with the SAP Business One. So to start up with the demo on the SAP Business One, now, now as a manager or as a department head, when I actually open my SAP Business One to start up a day, I would, the first screen I would go through is a type of a, we basically in the SAP Business One, we basically call it as a cockpit. Now here the cockpit is basically a combination of dashboard, KPIs, and the process flow, which basically give a reference to the new users or the managers of the organization. Now, if you look at this screen, basically the SAP Business One screen, you will first get inside with the basic lots of KPIs. Now, if you look at that screen, we will have like KPIs like total sales amount, customer receivable, payable overdues, And on the right hand side, you will see like your recent updates. What is the total sales order you have made? What is the total AP invoice you have made? What is the total goods received? So this is basically what we have in our cockpit. Now KPIs, when I actually talk to you about the KPIs. Now KPIs are basically the target set by the organization for the company. Now, to make the management to make a decision or to take further action or to take anything, they need to improve the business of the company. The first thing is the manager required in this today's business scenario is a KPIs. Now, if you look at the if you look at this screen, we have a KPIs on the sales amount. Now, as a manager, I can easily get through like what is the percentage of KPI I have achieved. And if I look at the customer receivable, now what is the balance receivable? I have to make it from my customer. Okay. At the same time, what is the payable overdue to be made to the your vendor? Now, these are basically the SAP predefined KPIs. But at the same time, you can also design your own analytics KPIs through the SAP Business One, which is built on a HANA database. Now, you may need to require some additional KPIs like your total sales for the day, your total profit for the day. Now, you can basically define your requirement in your pre-analytic dashboard as your requirement. Now, if you look at my dashboard, basically this is my demo server. So if you look at my dashboard, you will see like what is the gross profit I got from the sale of 783.52K. So at the same time, you can also maintain your net profit, gross profit, and whatever the management required for the reference for your management purpose for your shareholders. So this can be basically maintained inside this SAP Business One features. Now, the second thing we have here is dashboard. Now, dashboard are also a part of this cockpit. Now, basically, this dashboard will give you easy to understand visualization. The dashboard comprises of your bar chart, pie chart. So all these dashboard are basically based on the transactional data from the SAP Business One database. So now if you look at the screen, you will have like your top 5 customer by sales, you will have top 5 selling item by sales amount. So basically from here, you can basically pick up your, identify who are your top 5 customers, who are your top, what are your top 5 selling items. So these things you can easily make out through the dashboard without getting inside the each and every item, without generating the Excel worksheet, which we as a business organization basically wants to look into the future of our business. Now, like if I take you the example, we have like a customer aging analysis here. So what are the aging of receivables overdue? So this basically take you to your financials model where you can break down like what is the age of each overdue, what is the age of each payables. So there are certain things which the management or as a finance manager of the company, you can easily take it through from this dashboard rather than going inside the each model to check the receivable. You don't need to go to the finance model to check all the receivables. Or if you want to take down the top 5 purchase items, you don't need to go to the purchase model and take out all these go to the inventory, take out all these top 5 purchase item. So these are the certain option dashboard we have in the system. Now these are the predefined SAP Business One dashboard we have in our system. But as a user and as a customer, now SAP provides you the option to create your own dashboard. Now, another thing we have here is a process workflow. Now, if somebody join as a new staff in your organization. Now he may not be able to know how the process flow happens inside the SAP Business One ERP. Now as a new recruit, he can basically go through this sales process. Like if he's a sales person, he can basically go inside this sales process. So on the other hand, he can basically know like what is what will happen after sales quotation, what will happen after you have done the sales order, what is the next step to take place after the delivery note. So these are certain things that the SAP Business One gives you as your option to know basically the workflow, your workflow, what should be done after each process. Now, like if you are a purchase recruit, you may be you may not be know how the SAP Business One functions in the purchase model. Now, if you look at this diagram and workflow, you will be basically know what is the actual process happening inside the purchase model. Now, at the same time, we have like different process for purchase. We have a different process for sales. We have different process for inventory management, for production, for HR, of course, the financial management. So with this workflow, anybody can take up the SAP Business One by looking at this cash flow. Maybe like if a new recruit comes in, you will be able to know, okay, now before the purchase order, there should be a purchase request. And like if you want to have a down payment, you can do it directly from your purchase order or good receipt without having the purchase invoice. So these are the certain features we have in the business SAP Business One ERP. Now, if I take you to there are certain features like forecast. Now focus. Now there are with the SAP Business One built on HANA database, where the artificial intelligence and machine learning comes into pictures. Now there are certain focus based on certain parameters. Now as a finance manager of the company, and with my experience of implementing ERPs with the different level of client, cash flow focus is one of the essential features requested by the finance manager of the company, where he can actually focus what is happening with his cash flow in the next 6 months and next 1 year. So with this machine learning and artificial intelligence, we can basically take out the cash flow using the SAP Business One ERP. Now, if you look at this cash flow forecast by the SAP Business One, we have like there are certain parameters where you have to focus your cash flow. Now, if you look at the screen, we are into the September 2020. Now, if I want to take you look at my cash flow forecast for another 6 months or another 3 months or another 1 year, definitely we need certain parameters to forecast your cash flow. Now, if you look at the screens, the system basically gives you like whether you want to take your outgoing cash for the next 6 months, whether you want to take your incoming cash flow for the next 6 months. What is your expenses forecast, your sales forecast? So these are certain parameters that SAP built on HANA database take out using the machine learning, artificial intelligence. So with this, the finance manager can basically take your forecast, which is required for your daily day-to-day activities. Now, cash flow in the SAP Business One lets the finance manager focus the company's cash on hand. Now, if you look at this, if you look in the October month, you will have like at the income in the month of October, you will have an incoming payment of new 6,50,000, where you will not have any outgoing payment, maybe like your open invoices, your recurring payments. So if you don't have these things, the system will basically takes your incoming payment. What will be the focus of incoming payment you have for the month of October? So these are certain things that the SAP Business One gets through your data you punch for the last 6 months or last 1 month. To generate the cash flow focus for the next 6 months, the data will be based on what is your receivable for the next 6 months, what is your payable for the next 6 months, what will be your recurring transition for the next 6 months. So if you look at the November, you will have like the outgoing payment of new 4 lakhs 52,000, which basically becomes your opening balance for next financial year. So these are where certain cash flow focus happens. Now, if you look at the transitions down here, you will have the A1 AR invoice, which you will have a A1 AR invoice which is receivable on 31st October 2020. Now, if you drill down into this, document, it will carry you to from which customer you are going to receive this sales order, for which sales order, for which invoice, so for the which item you have delivered. So all this will be taken care while you are basically forecasting your cash flow. Now, cash, as a finance manager, if you want to really focus on the cash flow, you will have your draft documents, you will have the journal voucher. If somebody delays your cash, looking at the trend, past 6 months trend, if somebody delays your payment, you can have the option to consider that. Then you have the option to take your opening balance. Now here we have like a bar which basically showed that high and low, which basically shows that there is a where there is a sales order, you will be receiving the another payment based on the sales order. So this, if you take out all these features into consideration, your cash flow will be taken into account. Now, if you look at this thing, you have a open sales order to be received through the by Jan 2021, your cash balance have to be 8.1 million. So in that case, SAP basically generates all your cash flow forecast based on the trend past 6 months and based on future receivable, future payables, your recurring posting, your recurring transaction. If you have any blank agreement with your customer or your vendor, so these are certain consideration we can take inside the SAP Business One. Now if you look at the left side of the screen, you will find all the modules in this where the Mr. Faizan has all covered up all these modules where like you have a administration, financial, CRM, you will have your opportunities, you will have your sales, purchase, you will have a business partner, banking, inventory, resource, production. So these are basically the integrated module we have in the SAP Business. Now, another features we have here in the SAP Business One is the HANA Enterprise Search. Now, like we have in the Google search, we basically have a HANA Enterprise Search in the SAP Business One, where you type the name of the your supplier, or you type the name of your customer, the whole history of this customer will be taken into the screen. Now you will basically know how can you track the total transaction you made with the reference to the particular customer. Now, if I take you to the one of the customer with the for example, now here we have a HANA Enterprise Search like we have in the Google search. Okay. Now, if I click here and if I type the name of the customer, now if when I actually search this customer, like we have a customer called the customer ABC since this is our testing server, we have created the dummy customer as a customer ABC. Now, like on the left-hand side column, you will get all your filters, like how many sales invoice has been made, how many deliver has been made, how many sales order, sales quotation, and what is the status of the payment. So everything has been made into this in this customer search. Now on the right hand side, you will get the detail of the item purchase or item sales. Now as a manager of the company, if I want to go inside this customer and see what is happening with this, basically this sales order or basically sales invoice, I can basically go to my sales order. Now sales order, we have like a particular sales order for this customer. Now if I click on this customer sales order, if it will take me to the customer ABC, basically the entire sales order of this customer. Now the interesting part here is, as a manager, if I want to know the status of this sales order, now maybe like if there is something like your management want to know like whether you have delivered the goods to this customer or whether there is some issue happening with this customer. So like basically if I click on this one, I will get a relationship map of this particular business partner. Now if you look at this sales order, you will get the entire history of what had happened to this sales order. Now, when I actually go inside the search engine and I have clicked on the sales order of this customer ABC. Now, when I actually look inside the SAP Business One relationship map, now this is the purchase order I have searched for. Now if you look at this relationship, now it's saying that you have a sales quotation for this particular sales order. Now the delivery has been made with reference to this sales order. You have a AR invoice already made for this delivery note, and the incoming payment has been received for this particular AR invoice. Now, if you look at the this screen, you will say it will say like your sales order has been closed. It means like with reference to the sales quotation, you have already issued your sales order. Okay. Now, again, if you look at the sales order, it will say like your sales order is closed, which basically means like you have already delivered the good based on your sales order. So this basically says like whole of your process with the SAP Business One sale module has been completed based on the sales quotation, sales order, delivery, AR invoice, and the incoming payment. So these are the unique features we have in the SAP Business One sales model. Now, like if you look at this sales order, if you look at this business partner and get inside this, what is basically happening with the sales order. Now you have already got the, if you look here in the filters, you have like 3 sales quotation for this sales order for this particular business partner, which basically said that you have this on this one. The status of each particular sales order will be given here. All the related things will be given. Now the another option we have in the SAP Business One business partner field is we have a 360 view of the business partner. Now if you click on this business partner, this is a basic database of the one of the customer of your organization. Okay. Now, if as a manager, if you want to view like what transition we had with this customer, meaning like customer ABCD might have purchased goods A from your company, they might have taken a service from your company. So to take down the actual transaction had with the customer ABC, you can just you can just view the customer 360-degree of this customer. Now, when I actually click on the customer 360 view, it takes me to the Freship Analytic, which is basically the SAP Business One built on HANA option. Now, if I look at this customer 360 with the customer ABC, customer code, and these things, it will take me to the actual transaction head with this customer. Now we have made a sales amount of 674K with this, out of which we have got a 436.65K as a gross profit. So like if you have any opportunities to win rate, if you have any potential amount of open opportunities, so when you actually go inside the customer 360, you will be able to fetch all this data through the customer 360 option. Now, if I go inside this sales thing, basically it takes you to the actual sales made, what is your gross profit, and what is your gross profit margin for year to date, and now what is the top 5 sale item made to this particular customer. So these are the analytics we have with the customers based on your previous input, based on your sales order here to this particular customer, based on your item sold to this particular customer. So you will get the overall picture is what is the company's relationship with that particular customer. Now, if I take you to the one of the sales order. Now here, what is happening? The first foremost thing what we have here is the exchange rate and the index. Whenever you do the transaction for the day, as a manager or as a finance manager, whenever you do a transaction for a day, the first thing the system will ask you is to take out the exchange rate for a day. Maybe like you will have a USD rate of 65 for the day, 75 for the day. You will have like INR rate of 1 rupees per term. You will have different rate for zero. So this is basically to calculate the your forex exchange gain or loss, which is one of the critical things for finance managers to take into their chart of account. So the first initial thing, when you actually start up your day, you must be able to define your exchange rate for the day. So when you actually update this, when you have done updating the exchange rate for the day, suppose if you basically want to do a sales quotation or sales order to be sent to your customer. Now, for example, if I get inside this customer A, B, and C. So like when I actually type the name of the customer, I will get the list of recommendation that to be made to the customer. Now, if you look at the right hand side of your sales order, the system basically recommends you what type of item do is customer A, B, and C purchase. Now, if there is a recurring purchase made by the particular customer, you can basically add it from here. Okay. So based on the recommendation made by the system, you can basically create a sales order based on the recommendation. Now, on the other hand, if the customer purchase a new thing, okay, if your customer purchase a new thing, and next time if you go to create a sales order for this particular customer, here again we have a feel like customer who bought this item also bought something. So if the customer buy the different items at different levels, you can basically track down what that customer has purchased or what the other customer has purchased. So these are all based on the analytics from the SAP Business One renders for the purpose of purchase, for the purpose of sales. So these are things that SAP Business One provides you. Now we also do have like we also do have like message and alerts. Now here the basically message and alert, if you look at this system, the message and alert basically generates you who is approving what document. Okay. Now as a manager, when your subordinate process a document sales order for you, the system automatically generates approval form to you, which you like we don't have to make it like send it through the different email ID like saying like, okay, I have generated a new document. So this all the things the system SAP Business One basically take care of all the message and all that. Now if someone of your subordinate has generated a document yesterday, now today as soon as you log inside your system and open your screen, the system pops you like you have a pending documents to be approved, sent, if you look here, sent by such and such users. So these are certain workflow analytics which we have been built on the SAP Business One HANA. Now we again have here the live collaboration. Like if you want to send some messages, if you want to send some messages, or if you want to do some reminder to your customer or to your subordinate, so you basically can directly send a conversation from here. You don't need to open your new email box. You don't have to call somebody or call somebody. You just have to make a chat box from here. You can just get through with the chat option. So on the overall thing, we have like with all these modules, we are coming up with the different types of analytics, different types of dashboard, different types of workflows, message alert. You will have an email address. So based on all this setting, basically we are deriving the outcome of from the SAP Business One through the integrated system, where as a administrator or as a head of the agency, you just have to log inside the system to view what is happening with your order or what is happening with your thing. So these are certain things we just need to, if I go inside this one, you retake you this sales order. Now as a manager, if you want to know like, okay, for this year, what is the total sales order we have made? What is the total AP invoice we have made? So like to view all this, you don't have to go like to the sales order we generate in Excel. Looking at these things, you will know like you total sales order for the till date is 46. And at the same time, we have a AP accounts payable invoice of 47. You have made a good receipt of 57. You have made a purchase order of 61. So from this dashboard, you can easily find out that, okay, you have purchased 61 numbers of purchase order. Out of 61, you have only received a good for 57 purchase order. Now, if you look here, you have a AP accounts payable invoice of 47, whereas you have already received 57 number of good received purchase order. So to take down all these things, you don't have to go to the each and every module to track down the things. So these are the actual unique features we have in the SAP Business One, because in the interest of time, I think I have to close at this stage. So like, thank you